Hi guys, welcome back to another video.
And today we're going to the British Motor Museum at Gaydon with some of the guys from the Muddy Freelander. We've never been there before, so we don't really know what to expect, so come along with us.
The steering and the brake joints.
Very good. I'll make a mechanic out of you yet. Anything else need doing on this service?
Grinding the valves and reset the tapping?
No, not for another 500 miles. You could clean the spark plugs for good measure.
This does not look like an MG that I'm used to seeing. It almost looks like it's got Audi rear lights and it's got like an Audi thing to it, but MGs have got weird. It looks like an MG from the front to a point, but they almost look like Focus RS-esque shaped lights.
They look Vauxhall Vectra.
Yeah.
The exact shape for a Vectra.
I was going to say, the grille is definitely MG.
Yeah.
The lights, they're confusing me a bit between multiple different brands. Interesting. What does the sign say? 2002 MG RDX 60 prototype. I like the colour though. Colour's nice.
I like that. It was thought that a mid-sized cars would be the answer to the company's financial woes. That obviously went well. I'm not gonna lie, I did not realise how long and almost wide Formula E cars are. I've watched them a few times on the old YouTube box, but yeah, until you see them in person, they're actually really, really long, and they probably won't even come out on this video, just how long these Formula E cars are. For those of you that don't know what Formula E is, similar to Formula 1, just 100% battery electric race car. Everyone said it wouldn't work, wouldn't take off. They've shown otherwise. This is a Type 2 Formula E car, but yeah, the sheer length of it, how you navigate that through street tracks and such, like, I have no idea. This car has a very soft spot in my heart. I think this is a proper Austin Metro, but I had an MG Rover, the curvier version to this, with a Elasto hydrostatic suspension that basically had balls on each corner of the car that was filled with like gas or oil or something like that. But yeah, that was my very first car, was a Rover Metro that I first owned, and I did so many miles in it. 4-speed box, manual choke. Absolutely lovely car. I would love to go back to my childhood and experience a car like this. Would absolutely love it. This is the 2019 Lotus Evija.
It does tell you how to say it on here. Look.
Yeah.
Evija.
Yeah. Fajita. Lotus Fajita. That Alana's carefully driven here. Very carefully.
You paid for half of it, so I only got half of the car.
50% discount. Peekaboo.
No pressure, Scott.
There is something very wrong about this picture. The adults are in the back and Alfie's in the front.
Alana was just saying, you don't see these Vauxhall VXRs around much at all. Talk about a blast from the past.
I didn't realise how expensive they were when they were new. Nearly 30 grand for
Wow.
that. Don't get me wrong, they're quick, but...
Stand next to it. Right, to give you some sort of scale of concept, Alana's 3'1".
3'1"?
This car is tiny.
I'm not 3'1", I'm 3'2" on a good day.
What you're looking at is £13 worth of food and drink. That's all I'm saying. £13.
95.
£13.95.
Such a cool little find. This is the first Freelander 2 that come off the production line. TD4, so diesel engine, HSE, so fully spec'd out. Although the bit that confuses me is these panels down here. I'm sure the HSE got body coloured panels as part of it, not black ones. Really cool little car. I think this is Tambora flame colour as well, because only a certain amount got released in this colour, but a really cool little find. Kept in really good condition. It's cars like this I'd love to have for a day, a week or something like that, just to drive a piece of history that the first Freelander 2 rolled off the production line. Cool little find. Alana just found this little treat. Diagnostics machine, a far cry from our Autel AP200 that we use nowadays, that's all Bluetooth and all that.
It's like a medical torture thing, doesn't it?
Where your files all kept underneath. And then on top of that, that's how you do your revaps, your engine tune-ups. Bit different to the rolling road setups and the digital screens and everything like that that's around nowadays.
You're plugging a laptop into that, aren't you?
That is a laptop.
Yeah.
So that was the British Motor Museum for our first time.
It was.
And do you know what? I'm shocked at just how much there is in there.
There's a lot.
I thought that the main building, that was the whole lot. And then you go across the way and you've got the Jaguar collection. Then you've got every car that they seem to have all packed in. Bonkers amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Highly recommend coming down in January.
Yeah, it was definitely, we weren't sure whether it was going to be really busy or really quiet. And it actually has been really quiet today. So it's been quite nice.
And looking at the car parking spaces, it looks like they can get a fair few folks in here. I know they hold the shows and various things like that in here and such like.
Yeah.
But do you know what? It's fantastic to have so much space, so much room.
Definitely.
Big thanks to Chell and Warren of Muddy Freelander Group for setting this up and organising everything, getting us all together, putting this on. Absolute great day. We're looking forward to coming again. Thank you very much for watching this video.
Indeed.
What they got to do, they've got
to like, comment and subscribe and do all the fun things down there.
Down there. I think that's everything ticks off the box.
It is indeed.
Thank you very much. And we'll catch you in the next video, won't we?
Goodbye.
Okay, bye. Splat.